Okay, our speaker for today, okay, actually you can see him here today. Captain Dr. Shan is a visionary leader, coach, and facilitator dedicated to transforming leaders, teams, and communities. As the founder and CEO of Team Coach International, he has spent over 25 years empowering organizations through high impact leadership development, coaching, and facilitation. I'm sure he will tell us more about himself. And the topic for today is unlock the power of facilitative leadership. Wow, what is facilitative leadership? How does it link to coaching? And more importantly, how to be a facilitative leader? And I look forward to all these insights from our speaker for today. Without further ado, I will pass the control to Dr. Shan. The floor is yours. Thank you, Dr. Shan.
Thank you, Rita. You hear me clearly, yeah? So thank you. It's an honor to be, sharing this with like-minded professionals. And I always say that, whatever that I'm sharing is just not from the knowledge perspective or from what I've researched, both in the world of facilitation and also in coaching. But some things that what I'm sharing is something that I've done and I've seen it work, and that's what I'm sharing. So each one of us here might have, have to experience differently. We can always share as a community of practice, exchange ideas. Yeah. So this session is about how we, or personally me, in Team Coach International, have introduced facilitative leadership, have given facilitative or shared facilitative leadership competencies for leaders, not only from the HR world, but everywhere, from community to NGOs, and also for the corporate. So this is my sharing. So you can stop me whenever you want to ask me questions, or you can put it in the chat box, and I'm sure Rita here will notice that. And if you want the answer to be now, just put it there. This is the question. Now, answer me, Shan. Yeah. And and before I start, I would like to thank our creator for blessing us with this time, because I always believe that everything that happens, there's no coincidence. So we always believe that, the right people are here, and there's always a reason why we are connected. Yeah. We don't have to know the answer, but just believe and trust that everything will be great. Yeah, in the creator's name. So thank you very much. So allow me to share my slides. Okay. So yeah, this is about facilitative leadership, something that I've been working on for the past recently, past 5 years. My doctoral research was in coaching, but at the same time, I also found things linked to facilitation, because before I became a coach, I entered the world of facilitation first. And last year, being certified or accredited as a master facilitator, I saw there was a lot of common things between coaching and facilitation, especially in the way of being. Sometimes we are so focused on doing, process, we forgot the being part. Yeah. So let me go through the session outcomes. This was discussed. Rita and I discussed about that, and we will quickly define facilitation. What is facilitative leadership? What makes it unique? The benefits, how coaching and facilitation competency add value, and the 7 ways of being as a facilitative leader. This I've been talking about in facilitation world, in coaching world, and also in the leadership world. Yeah. So if you look at the evolution from the great man theory, we'll talk about leadership, from the great man theory to transformational leadership theory, you can see the shift from trait-based and hierarchical models, hierarchical models, shifting to more of collaborative and adaptable approaches. Recently I've been going through this program and being certified into adaptability quotient. So what is adaptability quotient? How good are we in adapting? Adaptability quotient is something that makes IQ and EQ work. And leaders, doesn't matter, whatever personality style you have, is important for us to adapt. So we can see the shift, the evolution of leadership style. My opinion, I think it started from 1970s, from Greenleaf and servant leadership concept. And I'm a great believer of servant leadership because we as leaders, when we are blessed with a role and given the responsibility and accountability to be a leader, our role is to serve others and not being there to be served. So I believe that evolution of leadership styles towards collaborative and adaptable approaches started with Greenleaf and the servant leadership movement. And now we are slowly shifting to other theories. They're all evidence-based as well. And let's look at the word facilitation as well. Again, I love to see where all this originates from. So etymology of the word facilitation itself is to make it easy. Make it easy for people to do. So when it comes to leadership, right? Are we making it easy for the people that we serve to lead to accomplish tasks, to do things for the benefit of the team and the organization? Doesn't matter wherever you are, wherever you are. So are we making it easy? So I'm linking that to facilitation and the dictionary meaning of this word, and this is the way we look at it, is aligning a group to collaborate, co-create, and make effective decisions using group processes, methods, and tools. So in the facilitation world, there are a lot of methods, and within the methods are tools. I'll explain a little bit more about the process later. So this is from, you can't run away. When you talk about facilitative or facilitation, you can't run away from this great man, Roger Schwartz. He wrote books on facilitation. And he explained, facilitative leadership is a leadership approach where the leader acts as a catalyst, not as a director, to enhance group collaboration, decision-making, and problem-solving. Not only in problem solving, I believe it's also achieving a goal. So the key word here is the catalyst. So over the years, I've been conducting a program so far physically in about 15 countries and virtually more than that. And I see the pain points, right? The pain points in teams and organization is almost the same. So when I collected all the pain points, whenever I do facilitation programs or leadership programs, and these are generally the concerns, the pain points. We are not communicating enough. The bosses, the leaders are not engaging with the people. And among departments, we are not engaging enough. Everybody is working in silo. Although the word silo has been there for, I don't know, since the day the silo was constructed. People have been using this word. Lack of transparency. Are we really sharing? Now, again, we need to also understand that lack of transparency doesn't mean that we need to share all information all the time to all the people. No, it does not mean that. Because certain information given to certain people at the wrong time can be disastrous. So transparency doesn't mean that, we are open book for every time, everybody. No. The appropriate amount of information given to the appropriate people. And it is aligned to the organizational strategic goal or goals or what the intent is. Accountability versus responsibility. Now we got a tool now, we are measuring accountability, the perception of accountability in organization. Yes, I am responsible, but am I accountable? So if I'm responsible and not accountable, for me to blame others So something that I do not do becomes very easy because I'm not accountable. Oh, as a leader, I'm sharing things. I'm asking somebody to do something, but if they are not accountable, it's back to me. I'm accountable. I carry the burden. Of course, this is another common term, boss versus leaders. Although, and we are in some organizations are still, not only in Malaysia, but outside Malaysia, we still call our leader boss. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. But the behavior of the boss, what does it mean, the boss? I'm serving him, or is he serving? For me, leaders, we are serving others. Yeah. Relating to peers and subordinates, look, most of the communication problems, conflicts happen not because I want to do it. I believe that every human being is a good human being with good intention. But sometimes the processes that we create in the organization can lead to all this. Right? And I don't think like my good friend Kathy, who's actually the president of the Malaysian Association of Facilitators, who's here with us. I don't think that Kathy, before, like at night, before she went to bed, she thinks about, how do I get back at Sean? How do I give him problems because he's my leader? I don't think so. Because the processes and system. Another thing is because we do not have clarity in our conversation. We do not have clarity in our communication. I've handled a case before where Department A, the leader is holding Form A document A, and the Department B leader is holding document B, and they're arguing about documents. Not even in the first place asking each other, are you holding the right document? Of course, all this contributes to the lack of psychological safety, which means I am not ready to share my thoughts and my feelings to another person. You know why? I will be judged or I will be punished. Or sometimes in organization also I get this, oh, if I say we must do A and I've got this creative thoughts in me and contribute to the team, the next thing the boss will say, oh, great, fantastic, Adiba, good idea. I think you'll be the best person to do it. So the minute everybody who suggests becomes their responsibility, guess what? They're going to stop giving ideas. Lack of integrity. Yeah, lack of integrity here, meaning that, my intention, my thoughts and everything is not aligned. Yeah, I'll talk about congruence later. And lack of collaboration. We don't have avenue, we don't have the space, we don't have the processes to promote collaboration. So the three main areas here I see is relationship, clarity, and alignment. And Forbes, 10 most important leadership skills. If you look at it, I see most of you here, are senior people, yeah, are senior people, right? So you can see that this 10, from motivating others to authenticity. And this is, in 2022. My dear friends, this has been happening since the days of, I don't know, maybe including Adam and Eve days. This has been happening from those days. This is nothing new. I've been hearing this from my army days until now. And you see, look, this is 2022, meaning what? These are the things that are still required and needed for leadership. Yeah. So nothing new. 5 human skills to thrive in the future digital. Empathy, communication, coaching, adaptability, trust building. Again, nothing new. Only coaching recently for the past 15 years is coming up and now is growing. And I really, really admire and respect the work that Asia HRM is doing. And Rita, starting this platform from the community of coaches. Amazing initiative. Yeah, and it's growing, helping in this part of the world and this part of the world. So thank you, Rita and HRM, Asia HRM. But look at this. Anything new? I don't think so. This is a research done, a digital survey for 1,500 people. What are the qualities that are necessary for the digital era? Adaptability, curiosity, creativity, comfort with ambiguity. It's okay. It's okay if I'm not clear, because I'm going to get better clarity soon. This is another one. Curiosity, not coding. 6 skills leaders need in the digital world. Be a catalyst. From the definition of Roger Source on facilitation, catalyst. Trust and let go. Something facilitative leaders need to do. Be an explorer. Inspire divergent thinking. Be courageous. No, sometimes when people ask me, Shan, does facilitative leadership means all is good, all is nice, everything is pleasant? No, I think if everything is pleasant in a facilitation space, I don't think we are doing our job, because only when you move the individual, even in coaching, right, and in teams out of the comfort zone, then we are shifting towards the learning journey. If we are still in the comfort zone, I don't think any learning is happening, my opinion anyway. So we must be courageous to address this out of the comfort zone. Yeah, and people having this conflicting thoughts and ideas. Yeah, if some of y'all are very familiar with Sam Kenner's model, he calls it the grown zone or the emergent zone, when people are actually out of the comfort zone and being present. Yeah, leaders need to be present. And values. Are we living our values with conviction, not just with convinced? I am convinced this value is good, but that will not change behaviors. Only conviction can change behaviors. And this is why I always say that being convinced, head level. Being convicted is when the heart and the head is together. That will help us to transform. That will help us to live the values. And the next one, evolving leadership in the digital age. What I've seen for the past 5 years or slightly more is from knowledge holders. Yeah, from knowledge holders to facilitation, or to facilitators. See, I used to read, books on leadership and all that. And those days, the famous word is, one of the sources of power for leaders is knowledge. If you have knowledge, you are a leader. But now, my dear friends, knowledge is everywhere. Knowledge is everywhere. And I always, when I'm addressing senior leaders in a leadership workshop, or when I'm facilitating a leadership workshop, or even as a learning facilitator, I always say, can we accept that the younger generation knows more than you and they are better than you? Can we accept that fact? If we can accept, then you have passed leadership 101 currently anyway. And recently, case study, last year, the Malaysian Association of Facilitators were actually conducting a conference, and they were all below 40. And that is the EXCO team. Being an advisor myself, and I think Putri Juliani is here, we are advisors for the association, and we said that, all the senior ones, give them a good, nice name, call them mentors. Basically to tell them, stay out of the way. Let the young ones do what they want to do. Unless they're going to come up and, ask us, yes. But again, do not direct, facilitate. And there are times when it's against values, against policy. Yes, we can step in. And I was just watching, and just to prove to myself that the young ones are better. And we had, after 12 years, 13 years, we've been having this conference. Last year was the best conference ever with the most number of participants. It was just a simple project, right? It was a simple project, maybe lasted about maybe 6 months from planning to execution. But it's just to prove to myself what I'm saying holds water, that the younger ones probably know better than you. So from knowledge holders to facilitators, because in the digital and the knowledge era, knowledge is everywhere. So people are accessible to knowledge, right? Now with ChatGPT, and you can see that even these two visuals are from ChatGPT created. You can clearly see that. You know, I was trying to look for images, and finally I gave them. I said, "Okay, ChatGPT, help me." It gave me this. Yeah. So not about holding that knowledge, but about facilitating, make it easy for people to do it. So you can see the movement, and it's moving very fast, very, very fast. I'm sorry, this is because I don't want to disrupt this diagram. This is from Behavioral Relationship Management Institute. It talks about the evolution of organization itself. If you look at, the typical pyramid organization moving towards organism structure, yeah, people are resources, organizations are inward focusing, right? And then moving to the organization as a relationship. It's all about relationship. And they've seen this movement in their research. I mean, the structure can be still pyramid structure, but the behaviors, yeah, leadership as practice, leadership style, people, purpose, planet focus. What does that really mean? I mean, people talk about ESG, people talk about the planet and all that, but is it just looks good on our website, in our reception area, in our yearly book, or do people really demonstrate those behaviors? I don't know. I'm just asking. We have to ask. I'm asking that question myself. And I've connected to Dr. Michael Kavanagh, professor from University of Sydney. He's a coaching psychologist. And he said this wonderfully. He said that the quality of conversation determines the quality of relationship. And the quality of relationship determines the quality of the organizational system. How much latest IT infrastructure you have and all these beautiful systems, employing top-class consultants, creating the best organizational system, but relationship determines the quality. And it also reflects what the behavioral relationship management research was. And guess what? The quality of relationship is determined by the quality of conversation. So, my dear friends, are we having that quality of conversation now? Whether in the family, in our community, in our teams, in our organization? Can we ask ourselves, can we tell ourselves, we are having quality conversation? I asked my friend, hey, what do you do on the weekend? I have quality time with my family. We have quality time. We go for a dinner and we have quality time. But actually, you go to restaurants in Kuala Lumpur, and I've seen also somewhere else. The kids have got the virtual babysitter with the iPad in front, and everybody. And most of the time, I see the mother orders the food, and I am constantly observing, right? And whenever asking the husband or the kids, what do you want to? Oh, anything, because. And in Malaysia, we have got these big screen TVs in front of our restaurants, and you know what? And especially when football matches, everybody is glued. Forget about that. And then I always ask, do you remember what you had for lunch yesterday? Or do you remember what you had for dinner yesterday or breakfast? If you can't remember, wow. So I'm asking myself as well, do I remember? If I don't remember, then it's a sad case. And who do I have that dinner with? So coming back to, all this is fine, right? We need to have all this conversation and we need to have all that. And I'm talking about this, proposing it, leading in the digital world. Let's embrace high tech. My organization, we are really embracing on high tech, using AI for assessment and everything. We embrace high tech, but we need to focus on the high touch. What is the meaning of high touch? We need to connect the heart and the head. We need to connect with human beings and have that quality conversation so that we have quality relationship, so that it can help us in maintaining the quality of the systems and processes in organization. Amit Mukherjee, he said to lead in the digital world, creativity, collaboration, inclusivity. Isn't it interesting? And these are the benefits of, facilitating and coaching. And one more thing he said, don't even have, we all talk about smart goals, right? Specific, measurable, realistic, and blah, blah. He said, try not to have smart goals. I was shocked. And I read that. And he said, if you have smart goals, you'll get stuck to the smart goals. You will not be creative. You will not be innovative. Well, that's what he said. I said, okay, I'll try. But I must I must know where I'm going anyway. That's fine. But don't get stuck. Be adaptable. And we always thought all this, in Malaysia and some of the countries, Asian countries I go, they said, oh, this is from the Western world. I'm sorry, my friends. Facilitative conversation and meaningful conversation existed in this part of the world long time ago. And during my research, this is what I found. In ancient China and imperial China, they had all these wise people. They had collaborative approaches to decision making. In India or South Asia, they call the Grand Sabha, the Panchayat, which in 1970s, the Indian Parliament made a rule that every village must have this concept. Collaborative decision making. Consensus decision making in Australia and Australasia, the Pacific Islands. It's central to their traditional governance. If you look at the Middle East, the concept of Majlis, tribal council, the concept of Shura, Diwan, administrative council, and Ada, or in Malay we call it Adat. These are customary practices. The Quakers in the 17th century. And this I get all the time. Conferences or workshop, I ask, do you all know who are the Quakers are? No. Do you know Quaker Oats? Yes. So do you know the funny man with the head on the Quaker Oats packaging? Yes. They are the Quakers. They were the early migrants to North America, and they were a sect of Christianity. And they have got non-hierarchical decision making. And you talk about Native Americans, talking circle. I don't want to talk about America as well, because I'm talking about the Native Americans, the original Americans. They have talking circle. So coming back to this, please, nothing new. This part of the world, we already practice collaborative decision making, facilitated this conversation. We already practice this, so there's nothing new, right? So what are the benefits? These are some of the benefits. I just want to just leave it there for a few seconds. The most important thing I've noticed is it creates a non-judgmental workplace. People are not judging, but constantly seeking clarification. Provide safe space for crucial conversation. It can be how sensitive. A lot of times in workshops, people run away from the elephant in the room. But it's important to address that elephant. And suddenly you realize, hey, you know what? That's not an elephant. It's a giraffe. Oh, you know what? That's not a giraffe. It was a lion and a tiger. Worse still. But address it. And all this helps in our continuous learning. Good. All the what's and all that is fine, but how? Coaching and facilitation. Because if you look at the directive and enabling roles, if you look at the directive enabling roles, these are, when I was doing my research and I wanted to find out the difference between all these terminologies, because we continuously interchangeably use it, right? Right. So please, as leaders, this is not the role of a training department or the HR department. All this, every leader should wear this hat for developing people. Yeah. So you got consultant, trainer, learning facilitator, mentor. And these are all directive. They're all content driven. Then you got process facilitator and coach. These are enabling or process driven. Yeah. So when you talk about content, because there's, it doesn't mean a coach is got a higher status than a teacher. No, they're all the same. These are all roles, the different hats we wear to develop others, right? It's just that the process driven and the difference between directive and enabling processes. So coaching and facilitation are enabling tools for us to develop others. And yeah, coach, even in within coaching, there's a difference between group coaching, team coaching, and coach, executive coaching, one-on-one coaching. It's all different. And I've also now beginning to research on facilitative team coaching. That's a term that I coined, because when I combine coaching philosophies and principles and processes with facilitation principles, it's not much difference. So I said, why not, when I'm conducting a team coaching, I can include facilitation process and tools. And it worked. And I think Adiba is here. We have done for 2 group of leaders, from national level leaders, and it has worked. But I need to do more work and research before I write a book on my facilitative team coaching. All these facilitation tool and coaching tool actually rise on these 2 types of thinking. This guy, Guilford, he wrote the book on the nature of human intelligence. And he said that human beings, anything that we do, divergent thinking, convergent thinking. Even simple things like, oh, Marhani, let's go for lunch. And we start arguing, where do we want to go for lunch? We want to go here, we want to go there. There's divergent thinking. Oh, and let's say Marhani and I, we are working in the office, and suddenly it's, oh, is it traffic jam? Is it raining? And then we are going towards convergent thinking slowly. And then Marhani said, just grab the food. I say, okay, order grab. Saves a lot of problems. So there's a process of divergent thinking going on all the time, and there's a process of convergent thinking going all the time. In coaching, in team coaching and one-on-one coaching, the process, any model from goal to clear to respect to solution-focused model, you can see the divergent thinking and convergent thinking in action, including in facilitation processes, methods. You can see divergent thinking. That means as a facilitative leader, we are actually bringing the team or the group process, moving from divergent thinking to convergent thinking. So all this fine, we got all the skills, we got everything, but for me, again, the way of being is important. Yeah, I'm not going to spend too much of time on the way of being a facilitative leader. But this, and what's the way of being? It's a way of being something or doing something. To often have a characteristic or to frequently do something. We are living it. In the International Association of Coaching, we talk about the ISA 9 masteries. And we talk about the mastery is the way of being. That means not only during coaching, but we are living the masteries. Yeah, we don't call them competencies. So we are living the mastery. It is what we are. So I've got all these years, I was leading teams, regional organization before I went on my own. And I looked at what made me successful. It doesn't mean I was successful all the way. I failed a lot of times. Yeah. So it's clarity of purpose, congruence, compassion, courage, creative, curious, credible. And I use this for my coaches also. When I train coaches, the way of being, and also as a facilitator. How am I adding value to the people whom I serve? How do you know your purpose? Purpose is different from vision. Vision means I want to be number one. I want to be the best. I want to be this. I want to be this. You know what? That can lead you to be a very selfish person. But purpose is, how are other people benefiting from your existence? I don't think we are created in this world to serve ourselves or to occupy space or to finish food on earth. And I think it is, we are here because somebody, somewhere, someone is benefiting from us. If we can identify that, like ask myself, how's my wife benefiting from me? How's my family, my kids, my community, or my organization, my friends, how do they benefit from me? Once I know that, okay, that's my purpose. Can change? Can it change? Yeah, of course. Nothing is carved on stone. Congruent. Yeah, it's not about putting up that mask. You know, I've got a I was doing one program for a organization, multinational organization in Thailand, and I was saying, you know, I thank the Western world for coming up with all this management and leadership tool. And I say, can I share something, terminology on leadership, leadership terminology, my own language, my national language? And they say, yes, Sean, please go ahead. I said, the word is sing it. And they say, what? They sing it. Sing it means if a car is not aligned, it goes sideways, right? It's not aligned, right? So if our thoughts are A, our intentions are B, and our behavior is C, we are not aligned. So if our thoughts, intention, and doing is not aligned, we think something, we say something and do something, we are not aligned, we are not congruent. So I call them singing leaders, non-aligned leaders. Then you got this word compassion, yeah. Let's spread love. It's about genuine relationship. Don't judge. Stepping up to help. Don't wait or ask somebody else. If you can do it, I always say, if you feel sorry for someone, if you can't help, don't feel sorry. Courage, again, it does not mean it's all nice, you know, being a facilitative leader. No. We need to have courage. We need to have courage to give strong feedback because our intention is pure. Our intention is not about us. Our intention is about others. The agenda is not ours. The agenda is theirs. So if our intention and our conscience is correct at the right place, we will have the courage to give strong feedback. It's all about them. And if they don't want to accept it, that's fine, because that's what they choose. I always say we have got the freedom to choose our actions. Unfortunately, we do not have the freedom to choose the consequences of our actions. Up to them, because we are there helping them, not for us. But we must make sure we need to be congruent and not saying it. Courage to be vulnerable ourselves, because human beings, I don't know about you all, I know that I'm not perfect. I know that some people are better than me, you know, and I know I've made mistakes in my life, and it's okay to share. Being creative, yeah, adapting, you know, being creative, looking at new possibilities, being solution focused. Not we dwell in the problem. It doesn't get us anywhere. You can't repair the problem anywhere. If we respect the problem exists, let's move on to look for solutions. Being curious how people are thinking, being curious what people think. What, you know, what's the meaning? What is the story behind the story? As a facilitative leader, as a facilitator, as a coach, it's important to know what values drive behavior. You might have your own values driving behavior. What about them? Being curious to know the impact. Be curious to know the thoughts and emotion behind what has been said. You know, and all you coaches here, you know that this is the important part as well, yeah? And this can only happen through attentive listening and by being present. And of course, credible. Engage in continuous professional development. Right now, I'm enrolled in another professional course. It's not that I got nothing else better to do with my life, but it's for me, it's my investment in myself. And what Asia HRM is doing is giving that opportunity for all of us, yeah? And you know what? We need to demonstrate those behaviors as leaders. then we can, people want to follow, they can follow. The only way we can inspire is not by giving this big talk from the stage. No. The only way we can, this is my thoughts, yeah? The only way we can inspire others is by demonstrating the actions ourselves. And that's how people get inspired, but not listening to your talk. They got enough podcasts in the internet, enough YouTubes to listen to. Build trust, be consistent. We all are able. All the leaders is ability. We have the ability. But what about the availability for the people that we serve to lead? The leaders sometimes say, my doors are open. You can come in anytime. I'm a mentor. Can you anytime? And suddenly you find the gatekeeper is the secretary. All the time the young talent goes up to be mentored. The leader is busy. Ability you have. Yes, we respect that. But are we being available for the people that we serve to lead? My dear friends, let's start the ripple. Wherever you are, start from the family, the community, in our teams, in our organization, in our community of practice. This is what Asia HRM has started. And I read their vision, and I've spoken to Rita. They have started the ripple, asking ourselves, how can we continue that? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shan. Are you going to start the ripple with us?
Yes, they already started, right?
How about the rest of the group here? Thank you, Dr. Shan, for just really giving us a lot of insights. Say, facilitation is all about collaboration, co-creation, and making effective decisions. A leader is a catalyst to enhance group collaboration and decision making. And now, in this digital age, right, we should not be in our comfort zone, because if we are in a comfort zone, we are not learning. So, evolving in leadership in the digital zone, we need to be facilitative leader. That meaning that young people could be better than us. That has made me to remember that, right? The reverse mentorship, right? So we can see that a lot of benefits in reverse leadership. And also, I'm very impressed with the quotes that you made. The quality of conversation determines relationship, and the quality of relationship determines the company systems and ultimately the decision making, right? So we can see the power of conversation. That has linked us to coaching. Coaching is the enabling tool for all of us to develop others. And you further elaborate on the way of being, the 7C, right? Clarity of purpose, congruence, compassionate, courage, creative, curious, and credible. And always be available and show your ability. Wow, a lot of insights from your session today. Any questions from the floor? Any questions from all of you? Anyone? Anyone? Like my friend, Mr. Yo, any question from your side?
Your microphone, yeah?
Yeah, you're muted. Yeah, can't hear you. Mr. Yo, you are muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, can. Now can. Go ahead, yeah.
No, because I think this is a very good tool, but the important thing to realize is that when you want to use the tool, you have to make sure that the people who support it fully are people who can make it happen together with you. Because a lot of time, the people who also get involved, sometimes could be your people who are your bosses, So if they do not accept it fully, you will have a problem in pushing it through. So I think the first person that you have to really get to accept it would be that person who is going to be part of the deal of decision making.
Okay. What are the things that we do training facilitators all around the region is to engage with the stakeholders first. Number one, engage just exactly like what you said. If the leaders and the top management are not willing for the process to be implemented so that the voice can be heard, if they are worried, sensitive issues will come out and they are not there to accept it, it won't work. So I always tell the leaders, are you ready? I have walked out of projects because management, sometimes leaders, they want me to be their mouthpiece and they want to drive their agenda. And I say, sorry,
Of course.
won't work. Then I will be a Sengek facilitator. So I say that, look, if you want this, once we put in the process, you got no control.
Yeah.
You know, you are actually, as a facilitator, if you're in a workshop, you're actually invisible. And if the group comes up with everything, and if you're not ready, don't do it. So it depends on the culture of the organization. You're absolutely right. If the people are not prepared, if you have not developed day to day, if you have not developed psychology safety in the workspace, nothing will happen.
Actually, many times, the people in the center are people who know the most. Okay. The thing is that whether they are given the opportunity to expose themselves and what they know. So, and if that happens, the world is there for the company to move along the lines of what we have just discussed.
Absolutely. And it's increasing. More and more organizations are embarking on facilitation because they see there's a lot of evidence. And the organization that I worked with, they actually see the fruits of having collaborative. But it doesn't mean facilitation and coaching is the only tool.
Of
It
course,
is one
I mean, it's
of the
just
tools,
one
right?
tool. Yeah, I
One of
understand.
the approaches
Yeah.
that really helps. And I've seen even in Malaysia and Thailand, I've seen it happening in India, that facilitation and the way people facilitate as facilitative leaders is growing because they're seeing the fruits already. It's still very, very young around this region. But you're absolutely right, correct. If the top does not agree, any initiative will not happen.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I have it's not really a question, but when you were telling us something about this congruence, compassion, the C7C, right? It has helped me to relate on D&I, diversity inclusion. And nowadays we all put forward this diversity inclusion because if we want people to be to attract more talents, we need to have diverse workforce in our organization. We need to be inclusive, and we also need to provide a psychologically safe environment for them to speak up. So I can see a lot of similarities on what you have explained to us on way of being. So I can see that facilitative leadership is the way to go for us to sustain the business growth, to retain talent, and even to develop them further.
Thank you. And I think my friend from Africa is here, Charlie. Charlie does a lot of work for UN and all that. And constantly we are talking about this facilitative leadership approach. And he's championing it in the African continent. I think Charlie, I just saw Charlie being here. So he has also shared a lot. So we are doing a lot of work in this area. Again, it works only if we have the buy-in from the top, but it does not stop anybody to start the ripple.
Mm.
The other thing that is, sometimes it works when you have guts to raise it up. Yeah. But we have to be careful because sometimes guts may not normally work too. So, I mean, there was a point about having the guts to do certain things, but that has to be weighed in context with the organization and the quality of the organization and also the kind of organization, okay? Whether it is a local company or a multinational or a company that's owned by someone, yeah, and the leader is just one person. So there are many types of organizations that we face every day, and I think a lot of you have also worked in many of these organizations.
Yeah. Thank you for your sharing.
Yeah, very true, very true. I work in multinational companies. I also work in very local companies
Yes,
owned
that's right.
by tycoon from mainland China. The culture
Yeah,
is totally different.
totally different.
So yeah, for those for the company that I work in with the Chinese boss, is super authoritative.
Right.
Don't talk to him about facilitation. So it's not really the uh, if you look for this kind of leadership, don't work in that company. But if you work in multinational companies, it will be different. They're more open mind.
You're right.
So culture actually can tell a lot whether is this kind of leadership is conducive or not. It's really something for their organization. Yeah,
Yeah, and there's no right or wrong here, because
true.
either are just as good or just as bad.
Very true. But we can see that I think there is a survey, right? From a very big consulting company saying
Right.
that this year we will have 1 out of 5 men force who are Gen Z.
Mm,
Okay, so you can see that Gen Z takes up, I think, could be more than 20% of the workforce. And Gen Z basically looks for autonomy, flexibility, and development. I don't think they would like someone who is very authoritative. They like to have their own space to speak up in order
mm,
for them to feel inclusive. I think
mm.
exactly what Dr. Shan is mentioning about the facilitative leadership. So it's a matter of now we fight for talents, right? It's a matter of whether you want to retain you attract the talents and also retain the talents. If you go for this facilitative leadership, you stand at a higher chance of getting more people to work for you, and also you hear different voices. Ultimately, it will help your company grow. Yeah. So we have a question here. Let me see. There is somebody wrote in the chat box. Okay. Oh, this is from Charlie. Charlie from Taiwan. Okay. Um, okay. One from Ernest. Will the slides be shared with participants, Dr. Shan?
Yeah, I can share the what do you call the
Okay, sure. Most
uh,
of the companies reserve coaching and facilitation training and skills to their top tier leaders. In what ways could we bring CEOs to understand that these skills should be spread at all levels of the companies? Okay, and then another, yeah, in Africa, the colonial heritage is still very strong, and the top-down approach to management is still very heavy. The way you blend facilitation, team coaching, and leadership will certainly and strongly, strongly support the paradigm cultural shift in Africa. Please write a book on the topic.
coming,
Okay,
Charlie.
Dr. Shan, we need your input for the first question. In
Okay,
what ways could we bring CEOs to understand? Yeah.
in what ways could we bring CEOs to understand these skills should be spread at all levels? What I have
Yeah, that is
what I have done is, especially before an organization approached me to start coaching culture in the organization.
true.
So what I've done is actually telling them, let's do a trial, a pilot program first, and then see how it works. And basically, you see, when we go and approach these leaders, who, I mean, when they ask us, right? So it's about what do they want. If we go in and tell them, oh, this is the best, we go and tell them what we are going there to impose our values, disaster. We start asking them, like a coach, asking them what do they really want to see? What do they really want? Because I always tell them, how can I fulfill your expectation if I do not know what your expectations really are? Sometimes they say that, oh, my top leaders are not working. We need team building program. No, there's nothing to do with it. I've experienced. Suddenly, the more you have this conversation with them, from team building, suddenly it moves to leadership. And at the end of the day, in one organization, multinational, it ended up where actually, you know what? We need to look at our process and system. It's not the people. So, and getting them to understand, we need to move in and not say that, oh, we are the champion of coaching and facilitation, and we are here to transform your organization. Nah, don't lie. We cannot transform anybody. What we can do is to get them to understand, do a pilot project. That's what I did. And then measure. Of course, going to ROI level might not be there, at least to level 3, to look at how behavioral changes have occurred. Once that is done, then they will convince themselves. Because it's not easy. It's not easy to convince someone who doesn't know. And like for example, even Mr. Yo and also Rita said, some organizations are family organization for generation. But even that, even I think in Hong Kong and Korea, and it's slowly from the 3rd to 4th generation, things are changing as they go out there and learn new styles of management, right? So it's about not imposing what we want to do. It's all about asking them what they want. And we need to be truthful about things. This what needs to be done, this, are you game for it, and all that. Do not promise anything until you see the result. That's why I'm a big fan of measuring. The evidence must show. Once the evidence is there, guess what? We don't have to explain much. Because certain things like this, right? If they ask for, oh, can you show another organization that your work and produce results? Some organizations don't want to share. They've got trouble or they got problems, and we can't bring those kind of testimonials to the other client. Some of clients are okay, some don't want to share. And especially in coaching, it's completely confidential. And even facilitation, if we are addressing sensitive stuff, they don't want to share. And we should not be sharing with any other client. But again, doing it, it could be for pro bono, or it could be from a very cheap rate for piloting, and then test one group first. If works, then tell them. Then you decide whether you want to continue for the whole organization. That's how I approach organizations when they ask me to create or to develop coaching culture in the organization. I hope I answered that question.
Right, to start with something small, right?
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? If no, shall we?
Can I ask a
Mr.
question?
Yong, go ahead.
Specifically, for example, because you're from Hong Kong, and now that Hong Kong is now much closer to China, and with all the changes, now with this change, has there been affected, for example, the things that we are talking today, for example, companies were used to operate very openly in the past, because as you know, Singapore and Hong Kong are always competing with each other, but I think now it's slightly different, so, but the thing is that does have an impact on the way that you operate from last time from now to now in terms of what we are doing in terms of related areas?
For me, because I work in a multinational company in Hong Kong,
Okay.
so I don't really see the changes there. But I also understand that there are a lot of companies in China, companies in Hong Kong owned by Chinese tycoon or Chinese
Yes,
bosses.
of course, there are lots.
And because these bosses have to change as well, because they need to, because they really want to be a multinational company instead of just a local company.
Okay.
If they don't really change their way of management, how would they be able to open more market in the world?
Yes,
So
agreed.
sometimes they also need to transform themselves in terms of that.
Right.
In China, there are quite a lot of companies looking for coaching, and also they also know that they need to be a catalyst. So I think this is something that we'll be seeing in its transformation.
Yeah,
they
more
can
and more. That's good.
with the older days, because they want to grow, they want to develop, right? If they want to if they want to open the market in Hong Kong or even other part of the world, they need to change. Otherwise, they will not stay competitive.
Right. I know that because when I was covering China in the year around the year 200, I think it's quite different. It's quite different because at that time, I think there was a lot of learning that is taking place from China down. Okay. But I think now with China becoming very, very, very big, yeah, and they know a lot of things. So the way I see it is that, things are moving so fast
Mm.
Even I'm sure Hong Kong is affected. Singapore, we are not sure yet, but we hope not so much. But I think Malaysia, for example, is a good friend. Yeah, good friend of the world. lah. So that's a good thing, lah. Yeah, that's a good thing, lah. Okay, because Malaysia is now close not only to China but also close to US, lah. So there's a good mix, lah.
Very
And we have
cool.
a group
Thank you.
photograph before we leave. Some people like want to leave. Time is up.
Yeah. Okay. So shall we take a group picture? Then after that, I need 1 minute from all of you to scan the QR code to get your feedback. Shall we take a group picture now? Maybe yeah, by opening, yeah, by just turning on the camera. Oh, I've Lim here, some friends here. Okay, so we have quite a number of people today.
Hey, sorry.
So maybe if you don't mind, somebody help me to take a picture as well, just in case I cannot do it successfully. Okay. Okay, the first page. And then the second page. Let me go to the second page. Okay. Let me do it now. 1, 2, 3. Oops. Oops, sorry. Yeah. One more time. Oops, sorry. How come I cannot do it successfully? One more time, sorry. Okay, good. Okay, so one more thing. I have this QR code ready. So would you just scan the QR code to give us your feedback so that we can grow further, we can improve and make it better every day? Okay, so this is the QR code to get your feedback. Can you just scan this code? Okay, and then another code, actually you can see from my background here, is the QR code for you to visit our site, no matter you're a coach or someone who's looking for a coach. So this is a platform for you. Okay, so we have these two codes here. So the first one is the feedback one. Okay, and the second one is the code which will give you access to our platform. Okay, so anyway, we will send it to your email as well, just in case you don't have enough time to do it. Okay, any questions?
Could you send us the group's photo so that we can
Yes, as well, together with the
thank
slides,
you.
okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, I will do that.
Thank you, Rita.
Okay, so
Thank you, Sean.
that's all for now. Okay, enjoy the rest of the week and see you next time.